most of the time it doesn't work. The corporate template fails most of the times, and the users can't make it work. So I thought the best way to approach this topic was to tell you a true story. A true story about what really happens when we talk about corporate templates. So normally what you have is a company, and the company is a client company, okay? Normally the company has two main needs. The first one is I want my presentations to be consistent, okay, cool. And I want my users to stop inventing new slides every time, because if they keep inventing slides all the time, then they will come up with ugly results. Plus, they will spend a lot of time. So the plan is, the requests are clear. Companies want more consistency in their presentations, and they want to save time to their users, but somehow there is kind of a need of constrain them, creating constraints for those users, not to let them free to create. Now, this is an important matter, but let me tell you the story first. The company has clear in mind what it wants. So this is the moment in which a new character comes into the story. The designer. Yes, because normally when a company wants a corporate template, what do? Well, they hire a designer. So they contact the designer, and here we go, the designer comes on in the game. And the company goes to the designer and tells her, look, I want my presentations to be all the same, all consistently designed, and I want my users to stop creating new layouts. The designer goes, oh my God, PowerPoint again. Designers, we don't love PowerPoint, right? And we know that they don't even love creating PowerPoint templates. Why? Because it is not such a creative job. So every time you, as a company, hire a creative agency or a design agency, what happens is they are not happy to work on PowerPoint, to work on a corporate template. So these two things are deadly to designers. The company doesn't know that. The company just thinks, you know, what I need is a few layouts, beautifully designed, in line with my brand, that I can just make use of. But the truth is that probably the traditional design agency is not looking for this kind of project, or at least it's not their preferred projects. Right, my name is Maurizio Lacava. I am the co-founder and CEO of MLC Presentation Design, and we design lean presentations for your success. Back to the story. Apart from the teaser, how do these two people interact? So the company is hiring the designer. The company has clear in mind what she wants. The designer has clear in mind that she doesn't want to do this project. What happens next? Well, the designer has to do that. So opens PowerPoint and starts from the basics, right? The basics are, you know, traditional PowerPoint template. When you open PowerPoint, you have the standard PowerPoint template from Microsoft. Well, you start from there, because you already have some layouts. So you start editing them, then you add some branding. Now, this is a brand of a client we've been working on recently, for which we developed a template, corporate template, but in a nice and innovative way. Maybe later I will talk more about that. But for now, imagine we take the standard Microsoft PowerPoint template, then we take our branding, poof, we make the merge. And this is the moment in which we come up with corporate template. Then the designer goes to the company and says, here we go. I took your brand guidelines. I took the standard Microsoft PowerPoint template. I merged them together. And guess what? Here you have your 10 beautifully designed layouts that you can use for your corporate templates. Spread them all over the world to all your employees. Result. Employees feel frustrated. They're not happy because they start using these layouts, and what happens is always the same problem. They start working on the layouts, but they get objects overlapping, placeholders are moving, they want them somewhere else than where the designers put them. Then they import tables from Excel, and those tables are very high, and then they go and cover institutional elements. For example, in this slide, we are covering up the logo in the footer. Or what happens is that we as users feel constrained within these templates, and we never find the layout that we're looking for. So we look at what we have, and we don't really understand why we get this layout with a huge text box for the body text when we don't want to use body text because we just want to put charts into that. Or maybe there is this huge title, and maybe we have 3 subtitles, but we don't need 3 subtitles. Why did the designer put 3 subtitles? We don't need them, right? And so every time it's like, right, but this template doesn't have what I need, and furthermore, it constrains me because I have a footer. Sometimes you have sidebars, you have banners, and you have the user space. I can tell you a true story. Recently, I've been invited to record the training for a training company, okay, training portal, and they asked me to design my slides into their corporate template. I went on shivering, like I had goosebumps. I said, come on guys, do you really want me to adapt to your template? Because, you know, I looked at the template, and it's like, it's not ugly, but it's designed in a way that they actually cut a lot of the space in the slide, and you feel, you know, you don't feel the freedom you need. All of us like to feel creative in a way when we design slides. But, you know, this feeling constrained is a traditional problem when you first get traditional corporate templates that are traditionally designed. I know I'm using the traditional word many times because what I want to show with you today is the opportunity to create a corporate template in a way that actually works, which is not the traditional way. It's completely different. In the meantime, I see that Jennifer joined. Hello, Jennifer, and also hello, Nicole. They just joined. Okay, cool. So feel free to say hello when you join into the chat, because I see the chat while I'm talking and I can comment on it. Right. So we feel constrained. Okay. It's not. Is it everything? No, it's not. We feel that there is lack of consistency, which is weird because the template has been designed for that reason. But you know, the true story is that at the end of the day, we feel constrained, and so we start adapting. Come on, I'm sure you have seen this happening. You imagine the user in the company, the employee takes a corporate template because he has to prepare a presentation. So communication department gives him the corporate template and tells him, okay, this is the corporate template, you have to stick to it. He starts to work on it, feel constrained, and therefore, what does he do? Starts adapting the layout to his needs. This is the ugly truth. This is what everybody does, isn't it? It is true. Come on. We don't feel confident with this corporate template, so what do? We start adapting it. And as a result, what we get is that at the end of the day, people go farther beyond the corporate template. They start creating. They unleash their creativity. And here you have two different kinds of companies in my experience. You have those companies who tell the users, stop it. It is 100% compulsory to use the corporate template. You go beyond it, presentation won't be approved. You will have to go back. You will have to remake the template, the presentation from scratch. So there are some companies that are really, really, really strict. And then there are other companies who don't really care. And so you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But you know, both cases are probably not helping the user, because if you force the users to stick to a template in which they don't feel confident, they will not be able to communicate at their best, right? And so their presentation will not work very well. On the other side, if you have a company who doesn't care, you know, what's the point of having a corporate template then? Because if we don't care and then users can do whatever they want, then right, fine, do whatever you want, but goodbye consistency, right? Okay. Hey, Steve, ciao, welcome to join. Both cases, therefore, are not helping. But you know what? It's not fault of the company. It's not even fault of the user. Also, because what happens is that this becomes like a snowball effect. Yes, because when people start adapting the layouts to their needs and they start editing the layout, but not evolving the corporate template. And these two things are very different, guys. One thing is adapting layouts quick and dirty on the go. One thing is evolving strategically the corporate template. But to do that, you need to go enter the slide master and know how to use it properly. So what happens is most of people don't know how to do that, and so they start adapting their layouts to their needs. And what happens is that they go and break the master slide. If the master slide is broken, then the corporate template won't work anymore. And these presentations will start going around in the company from one computer to the other, from one user to the other. Hey, can you add a few slides to my deck? Then I collect a few other slides from another one, and then I merge all the contribution from different colleagues. And then what happens is that I spend countless hours adjusting the colors, adjusting the fonts, because I have many different fonts all of a sudden in the presentation, but I know I have to use one font, which is a corporate font, the corporate approved font. Or for example, I'm using, you know, if you can see, if you see on my slides, my corporate color, my main corporate color, at least one of my companies is yellow. And so many times if you work in a presentation and you merge contribution from different colleagues, all of a sudden you find yourself that this yellow appears in many different variations. And so, you know, again, rework. You spend a lot of time adjusting these colors, adjusting these fonts, adjusting the layouts. You move from one slide to the other and objects are moving, they're not consistently positioned, and you feel like wobbly when you're going through the presentation. Everything is moving. It's not a nice feeling for our audience. So, you know, this happens most of the time because the master is broken. The master is broken because of the wrong way of using the presentation, wrong way of using the corporate template, because the corporate template hasn't been designed properly. And in fact, the result is that people won't be more efficient. They will waste much more time adjusting the fonts, adjusting the colors, so on and so forth. We've seen it. And then the presentation won't be much more consistent. It won't because we are using many different, well, we have violated the slide master in different points. So now the presentation can't be consistent. So if users are trying to use a template, they are not more efficient, guys, and they are not able to make a presentation more consistent. Now my question is, why are you using a corporate template? This is the moment in which I sometimes I tell it to my client. I say, guys, your users are not ready for this kind of tool. And if they're not ready, if there is not a know-how diffusion plan, then guys, let it go, because it will just be a failure and people will get frustrated. So, you know, it is always the same story. I told you it is not the fault of the company. It is not the fault of us, users of PowerPoint templates. So whose fault is that? It's the context. In fact, there are, I believe, at least two reasons that cause the failure of corporate templates. The first one is what I name as unmatched needs. And the second one is a lack of knowledge of how the slide master really works. Now, before we move on, I just wanted to give you a quick demonstration, a quick demonstration of how the slide master works. Now, the slide master is a powerful tool in PowerPoint, and some of us might believe we know how to use it. But the truth is that most of the time when we look at webinars that explain us how to use a slide master, most of the people do that in PowerPoint. Now, I won't do that in PowerPoint, okay? Because I believe that the slide master in PowerPoint is easy to understand as long as you understand the architecture behind it. So the point is, are you able to understand the logic of how this tool works? Because if you do understand it, then it's very easy to understand how it works in PowerPoint. Let me take you through it very quickly. Because normally when you have a presentation, what happens is something like this. You have your presentation, which is made by slides, okay? Those are the slides miniatures, okay? Now you need to know that in PowerPoint, so this is a PPT file, in every PowerPoint presentation, behind the presentation, somewhere that you don't see, you have what we call the slide master. Now the slide master presents itself in a different way compared to a presentation. And the way it is presented is with a big slide here, and then you have small slides here. Now guys, let me help you understand what I'm talking about. So, okay, now should be a bit clearer. All right, so this one is, the big one is what we call the theme, okay? While the small ones are what we call the layouts, okay? Now the theme and the layouts, those two things are the components, the basic components of the slide master. Imagine a slide master is a container. Within the slide master you have themes, and within the themes you have layouts, okay? Now imagine that every layout defines the structure of each slide, and the way it does it is through two kinds of objects. You have placeholders, okay, I will draw them in blue, and then you have fixed objects. For example, a logo here. So I will call it fixed object. For example, logo. Okay. What is the difference between placeholders and fixed objects? Well, the difference is that placeholders are objects that you put into the slide master, and then from the presentation the user can edit. Fixed objects are put into the slide master, and from the presentation nobody can edit them. Let me give you an example. You can have placeholder title. So if you put this placeholder title here into your slide, then when you move to the presentation mode, you can edit it. But if you put a logo into the slide master as a fixed object, for example, a PNG file, an image file, or SVG file, it's a fixed object, then from the presentation you won't be able to even select it. And this is when you go, guys, and click on something on the slide and it doesn't click. It does not let you select the object. This is because that object is into the slide master. And very often what I see is that people cannot select something they want to cancel or remove from the slide, and so they cover it up with white rectangles. Now, this is not a good technique. If you can't select something, it is in the slide master, okay? And it is a fixed object. All right, So once again, we have a slide master. The slide master is made by teams. Each team is made by layouts, and each layout is made by placeholders and fixed objects. Now, what happens in your opinion when I link this layout to these two slides? I believe it's very easy to guess. What happens is that you are connecting, applying the layout to the slide, and so what will happen is that the slide will inherit placeholder and fixed objects from the layout. So you see, this is the fixed object, these are the placeholders. Now, cool. What do you notice here? What can you spot here? Well, these two slides are the same, are exactly the same. No difference between them. No difference at all. Yes, they are the same. Why? Because you applied the same layout to both of them. So this means that they will be consistently designed. They will be consistently designed. Furthermore, if you want to modify one of them, instead of modifying the slide, you just you edited the layout, and the edits will be automatically replicated. So let me give you an example. Let's see, I also need placeholder body text. What do? Go here, and I design a placeholder body text into the layout. Now, the slides will inherit this new placeholder, and the user will be able to write into that. You move from one slide to the other, and the body placeholder won't move up and down. It will be consistently positioned, consistently formatted, like the title, like the logo. What happens instead if at this point you need a different layout? So let's suppose at slide 3, so let me number them 1, 2, and 3. You are at slide number 3, and you say, okay, Maurizio, but in slide number 3, what I need is a different layout. So I don't need the body text placeholder. This is a moment in which most of the users, well, the average users of PowerPoint, would just go here and remove the placeholder text. Now guys, please don't. You don't move placeholders around from the presentation. You don't delete placeholders from the presentation. You don't just edit the placeholders from the presentation. Because the moment in which you move the placeholders, you might risk to damage the link. Damaging the link means that this link won't apply anymore, and so when you go and edit the layout, maybe the edits won't be replicated to the slide. Now, this doesn't happen all the time. It also depends on the PowerPoint version, but it's not good, because if you have a slide that appears like completely blank, no title, no logo, just full size image, and then that is linked to this layout with a title, body text, and a logo, then you will never be able to visually reconduct it. Never be able to reconnect them. And so it can't work. Because then, if the slide master doesn't work, then you will waste a lot of time. But guys, trust me, like a lot of time in trying to make your presentation consistent. Let me make the whiteboard a little bit bigger. Maybe you will appreciate it. Because I can make it a little bit bigger. Yes. Okay, not bad. Okay, so what do I do if I should not delete or edit placeholders from the presentation? Well, what you should do instead is go to the presentation and change the layout of that slide. How do I change the layout of the slide, Maurizio? Just right click on the slide, you select layout, you change layout. In the list of the available layouts, you will find all the layouts that are available to you within the slide master. Which one should you choose? Let's suppose that in this case, you need the layout that is title and logo, but you do not need the body text placeholder. So in the master, in this case, unfortunately, you can't find one. You don't have it. So what do? Well, what you can do at this point is just go to the master, duplicate the existing layout. To duplicate it, just click on it and use the shortcut Ctrl+D, which stands for duplicate. You will duplicate the layout. Here you are. And since you're duplicating it, it will be exactly the same. This looks to me obvious. Okay, but now that you are within the master, now here you can remove the placeholder. So delete the placeholder. Here you can do that. When you delete the placeholder, it will just disappear from the layout. And now you can reconnect this slide to the slide before, and guess what? You won't have the body text placeholder anymore. But since you did duplicate the first layout, now the two slides will be consistent, because the first one is based on a layout, the second one is based on another layout, but the second layout has been duplicated from the first one. So this means that you are technically evolving your theme. Now this is the reason why every time I say to my clients, watch out, because the template is not an endpoint. It's not we have finished the template, very good, done. No, the template, the corporate template, is always a starting point, because we guys, as let's say template engineers, we can't. It would be impossible to cover all the user needs. However, we can design the template in such a way that then the clients can evolve it, and we should. I see many designers, I don't know why, they always lock it, they don't explain how the master works, so that the client has to call them back. Wrong. Just give the keys of the car to your client, and if you are the client, if you are the company, pretend them. Pretend the designer gives you access to the master, explains you how it works, and so that you can evolve it, because the master is a starting point. The template is a starting point. Then you have to evolve the master. And who better than your users, those people that are actually using the master every day, applying it to their presentations? Who better than them understands how to evolve the template? So the idea in my approach is that we leave complete freedom to the clients, so that people can evolve their slide masters, but we teach them how to do so. So they don't have to come back to us every time and ask for a new layout. And yes, we can organize periodic updates to include new use cases that have been raised. It's fine, but they need to be independent. So this adds a degree of flexibility in managing the slide master that allows people to actually work in a synergic way. So I see there is a question into the chat. Thank you, Nicole. How do you reconnect a slide to a new layout? Okay, the way you do that, it's actually very simple. You just select the miniature of the slide on the left-hand side of your PowerPoint. You right-click it, you go layout, and you change layout, selecting one that is available. Nicole, if you have PowerPoint open, I invite you to go and test it. So check if it works, and you comment back again in the chat. Okay. If it doesn't, I will be happy to make a quick demonstration of how that could work. Okay. So guys, is it clear up to here? Because I know that if you're not confident with this tool, maybe a lot of theory can become a bit complex to digest. In my lean presentation design training, I spent 2 hours describing what I've just described in 15 minutes. So, but I wanted to make a digestible version for you today to pick up the key things and give you actionable insights so that from now on you can go in the slide master and make use of it. But also I want to add one thing. I don't know if you noticed, but in the preparation of this event, for you to prepare to this event, I created 3 video tutorials that I posted in the event page, in which I actually do all of these in PowerPoint. So today I'm explaining you the theory, but the practice is already shot, recorded in those video tutorials that I shared with you. And if you will allow me, after the webinar, me and Anna, we will follow up, send you an email where we will wrap up all the video contributions I realized for this webinar, so you will have all the examples, all the tricks on how to create custom layouts from scratch and apply them to real presentations. All right, thank you, Nicole. I see that Nicole is telling us that she tested it and it worked very well. Okay, guys, is everything clear? Do you have any specific question about the theory? Do you manage, normally the toughest part is to connect it with PowerPoint, you know, from the board to PowerPoint, it takes a little of experience, but if you are having your PowerPoint open just in front of you, I'm sure you are you're testing and probably you are discovering how that works. Are you doing that? I'm not sure. So please share in the chat if you're working on it, if it works, if you have other questions before I move on. Let me see. Okay, Anna, she's saying so far so good. I like the insight you're sharing. Okay, thank you very much, Anna. Thank you very much for being so kind. I'm happy you are enjoying the presentation. Okay, so let's move on. The template, as we said, could be probably your most strategic ally into a presentation. But you know, what happens at the end of the day is that, as we described, the experience of interaction with the template is that we feel constrained, we don't feel confident, we don't feel comfortable because we feel we have to respect strict rules that do not allow us to express ourselves, do not match our concrete needs. So we always find ourselves in situations like that. You know, I have a big image that I want to fit into my slide, but you know, I can't, because if I try to fit that image in that slide, it won't work, because you see that slide has placeholders and it has 2 body text placeholders, not 1, even 2. So now I don't have space for my picture. Why? Because the placeholders, Maurizio told me I should not edit them, I should not move them, I should not cancel them. The only thing I can do is write into them, fill them up, or I have to go into the slide master, and from there I can duplicate this layout, create a new layout, and from the new layout, now yes, you can remove the placeholder body text. But you know, to do that, you need to know what we've just learned. You need to have the agility and the know-how to realize that you have to go to the slide master, that you have to create an additional layout, and then that you can match the things. Let me see, there is another question in the chat from Judy. Will you go over theme colors and background styles in the slide master? Well, I can comment on that, not a problem. Maybe towards the end, if we have some more minutes, I will share my screen with PowerPoint and I will share some tricks on how to enter the slide master and how to put those things into practice, even though I talked about all these things into the video tutorial. So Judy, let's see if I have time to go through all of this, and if not, I will follow up with the tutorials anyway. But we are ahead with the schedule, so I might do that. Okay, so this is the moment in which you can't fit the image, you don't know how to use the slide master, and so what do? Well, easy. You start removing the placeholder from the slide, you cover up the footer so that you create space for your image. You see, once again, what you're doing is you are adapting the theme, the corporate template, to your needs. Why? Because the corporate template hasn't been designed to cover your needs, to meet your needs. And so this is what happens, right? You cover things, you cut placeholders, it doesn't work. So how should we create it? Because, you know, what we said is, on one side, the issue is that most of the templates are not really created reflecting user needs, but on the other side, we also said that it is a matter of lack of knowledge of the slide master, truly. And in terms of slide master, I think we shared some good knowledge here today, but also there are, again, a lot of knowledge I recorded for you with a lot of practical examples into the videos that are in the event page, and it will stay there, no worries. Maybe we can upload them on our YouTube channel and create a playlist for the slide master. This is a good idea. Speaking out loud, me and Anna will do that. Okay. And so lack of the slide master, but on the other side, you know, you have a template that doesn't match the user needs. So how do we actually create a template that matches the user needs? Well, guys, the way we do that is we need to change the way we do things. Now, there is this beautiful quote from Gandhi, which says, be the change you wish to see in the world. So when we design something, when we design a template, we should design it for people. We should put ourselves into our audience shoes, into our into corporate employees' shoes, and design it for them. So every time we start designing a corporate template, I always say, and I will never be tired enough to stop saying it, is start from the user needs. And you can tell me, what does it mean? What do you mean by start from the user needs, Maurizio? Well, guys, I mean that normally, think about it, normally when a corporate delegates, outsources the design of a corporate template, what the designers do most of the time is they just design, create a few layouts out of the blue, they come back to the company and give it to them. Okay, here you have your 10, 15, 20 layouts, 50 layouts. We created them for you. Beautiful. And this is what we call a top-down approach. So the designer imagines what he wants and he creates layouts. But those layouts do not take into account user needs, real user needs. And user needs very often are far away from what designers have in mind. Because what we do is we design presentations for business. And for business, we need much more, down to the ground slides. We need concrete solutions, not slides to be showed off into the slides museum, right? So I believe we should move towards what we call the bottom-up approach. And this is what companies should pretend when you guys, as a company, as a client, you delegate your corporate template to an agency. The standard approach should be reverted. What do I mean? When we design a corporate template, the first thing we do is we put PowerPoint aside. We go to the client and we say, okay, let's share with us as many presentations as you can, as many real presentations as you can, that people are using to make their documents, right? And so this is what we call the extraction phase, right? So we collect presentations. Those could be made in Google Slides, in PowerPoint. For us, it's the same, okay? But we need to extract. Then we cluster them. Cluster means that once we collect all the presentations, we collect presentations from finance, we collect presentations from marketing, from the HR department, from sales, from operations, and so on and so forth. We collect all these presentations. All of them, of course, are different. If you look at finance, it's more numbers. If you look at sales, it's numbers and pictures. If you look at marketing, it's pictures and numbers. If you look at HR, it's both. So it really depends. But you collect as many presentations as you can. You extract, then you cluster. So you say, there is a need for this kind of slide. I don't know, chart with the title and the logo. Okay, this is a need. Then I have another one in which I have a chart and a table with the logo and title. Very good. Then I have, and I build the clusters. Every cluster is a need. It reflects a need. At this point, what I do is I analyze all these layouts within the clusters, because at this point I need to understand if those needs are matched by effective layouts. Okay, you have the need to have two charts. Is it the best way to show them? Is it the best way to present them? Because my role as a presentation strategist will be challenging that and finding the best way to present what you need to present. So I won't invent use cases. I will create layouts based on concrete use cases. Okay? So first you extract, then you cluster, then you analyze, and this is the moment in which you come up with solutions. The layout that you will create, of course, will be beautifully designed, much better, more effective to use for the company, of course. But those, they will be designed bottom up, starting from real user needs, from real clusters. So sometimes I have 5, 10 layouts within a cluster, and I come up with 1 or 2 just to optimize it, because I know that 1 or 2 is more than enough to present that kind of situation. And therefore, when you will share this new template with the client, and when the client will get this new template, users won't feel frustrated. They will feel understood. They will feel that they have the layout that they need for the specific case. Why? Because those layouts haven't been created top down, they have been created bottom up, and now you know, guys, what it means. Okay? But when you standardize, because at the end of the day, what we're doing here is we are standardizing objects, right? What you put in the slide master is a standard version, so you're standardizing a layout so that it can be reused many, many times within your presentation. Okay, this is true, but at the same time, you need to keep in mind that not everything should be standardized. So what should you standardize? Well, what you should standardize are the repetitive objects. For example, titles, or in this slide you have a line next to the title. This is a graphic sign you might want to use, and you have the logo. You know, recurring objects, recurring placeholders as well. You have some placeholders that we call the spatial placeholders in PowerPoint. For example, we have footers, slide number, and then you have the date. Those are spatial placeholders as well. Those, it's worth it to standardize them as well, so you can format them, and once you get them there, then it will be up to the users to activate them from the presentation mode, from the insert menu. Okay. Once you have decided what you want to standardize, you're ready to create your layout. There are other 2 things you should work on, and this, Judy, is going towards your direction. Is the first one is the font. So which font do you want to use in your presentation? Make sure that you're not on the standard font, because very often it is Calibri, and maybe your company doesn't use Calibri. So if it doesn't, you want to use the right font. Now, in PowerPoint, in the slide master, you need to know that the font is set to the title and to the body text. So make sure that you use the same. I am the founder of the Lean Presentation Design, guys. So as you can imagine, for me, less is more, meaning that I see no reason why you should use more fonts within a business presentation. It doesn't add anything, okay? And for me, beautifying your slides, it's just a waste of time, okay? Therefore, my recommendation is, do not use multiple fonts, reuse the rework, reuse the recycles in the presentation making process, and just design what you need. Therefore, 1 font is more than enough. Use the same font in the title and in the body text, and it will just work, will be more than enough, okay? Then you have colors, of course. So you can set up the colors into your slide master. You have to think, you have different boxes with colors. Not sure I will have time to show them. Let's see. But I can tell you that you have the first 4 colors. I never touch them because they are part of the team, except I'm really creating a specific template. But in that case, I let my designers do that. Because the combinations between color 1, 2, and 1, 2, which are the text and background colors, are a bit complicated. But then you can play with the accents that are from 1 to 6, and those are very easy to work with, and the accents are very useful. Furthermore, in the MLC PowerPoint add-in, we have a function that is called branded colors, in which we actually have our colors always under our eyes saved into our ribbon. Maybe I will show you it later. And one more important thing is to overcome this idea that the template is untouchable. The template is not untouchable. So when somebody designs a template for you, you should keep in mind that, as we said before, the template is a starting point. The template is a starting point. You know, as before, I had one layout, but I needed one more. So what do? I just go within the master, I duplicate. Why do I duplicate? Because I recycled what the agency has already created. So I use something that has already been created. So I save time as well. And then, because by doing so, it will be consistent to the previous layout. So I duplicate, I remove what I don't need, and then I'm ready to go. Let me give you a concrete example, the agenda example. In this case, we have an agenda slide, and the agenda slide is made, you know, by a few points. But when you design a template, how many points should you use? Yes, we do clusters for that, so we know how many points mostly the users are using. But you know, there will always be the situation in which they might need 1 point less, 1 point more, and you cannot design infinite agenda. So what do? Well, we create an agenda that is flexible and editable in the master, so that then the users can just edit it. For example, imagine in this agenda you don't need the last point. If you don't need it, what you just have to do is go to the slide master, remove it, it's done. How do you do that? Now you should know. You don't go to the slide master, take the agenda slide, and you remove it. Of course you don't. Otherwise, you're violating what has been created by the agency. What you want to do is first, remember guys, first you duplicate the existing agenda, then in the duplicated version, you remove the last number. This way, you will have created at the end a second version of the agenda, so you are contributing to the evolution of your corporate template. This is the world that I picture. This is the world that I imagine, guys. A world in which my clients, my users, the users of my templates are independent. They got all the knowledge to evolve their corporate templates their own in an easy, efficient, and super effective way. Okay, and this is what I want for you. So once again, if you are clients, okay, if you're thinking, I need an agency to redesign my corporate template, yes. If you come to us, you know how we work. If you go to somebody else, you know how they should work. So pretend they work in a smart way. Otherwise, you will waste your time, your money, and their time and resources. Because at the end of the day, you will come up with a layout, with a series of layouts designed top-down that your users will not appreciate, nor they will be able to edit and evolve them. You want a bottom-up corporate PowerPoint template that your users are able to evolve. This is crucial. If your users are able to evolve it, then it will become a starting point, and therefore you will start giving people a tool that they really understand and make use of. It will just be for their benefit and for the benefit of consistency of the corporate communication. Cool. Now, we have been talking about PowerPoint template, but the truth is that when we talk about template, we're not just talking about the PowerPoint presentation, we are talking about a template system. What do I mean by template system? So yes, the PowerPoint template is the biggest part. You have a PowerPoint template, fine. But then most of the times you need to keep in mind when you outsource these kind of projects that you need to realize your corporate assets. Icons, signs, you know, institutional graphics, whatever it is. Every brand has its own way of communicating. You might want your icons, you might want your pictures, you might want with specific filters or any kind of graphic asset. In the MLC PowerPoint toolbar, our add-in, we give a lot of tools for free, of course included into the add-in. But you know, when we design a template for companies, they need to have their own graphic assets, and therefore we take care of creating also the assets. So here already we have two components of a project, of a corporate template: the corporate template in PowerPoint and the graphic assets. There is a third component, which is knowledge. I talked about the know-how. It would be not honest, in my opinion, not professional to sell a template without telling the users that they need to know how Design Master works. Now, you choose how to train your users. It's I normally do that live like that, or our head of training goes to the client after the template has been designed and teaches them how to use the Design Master properly so that they can evolve the corporate template. But anyway, we share this kind of knowledge. If you don't share this kind of knowledge, the template might be the best template on earth. But if users don't know how to enter Design Master, duplicate layouts, work with placeholders and fixed objects, there is no way on earth they will make a good use of it. They will just feel frustrated, they won't make a good use of it, and the result will be not consistent. That is why we design PowerPoint templates. We offer an integrated platform to manage corporate assets, yes. So you, through the MLC PowerPoint add-in, you can open a sidebar, and within the sidebar you can create folders. We upload all the assets we design for you, but you can also upload the assets, other assets that you have on your computer, and so you have all of them available into a comfortable sidebar into your PowerPoint presentation. This is very important to us. We always do that when we design corporate templates for our clients. And then we do ad hoc training activities to teach people how to enter, edit, and evolve the corporate template. Now, this is crucial to me. In my agency, we never deliver PDF. We always give the PowerPoint. We never deliver like hidden masters or weird things. We're always open. We always open because we want the users to come join the development process and to keep evolving what we designed for them. So this is crucial to the success of any slide master, any corporate template, any presentation. You need the users to know how to handle it. And finally, one more thing that I would like to share with you as an experience. Recently, a company, the one that we have seen as an example today in the slide, has hired us to co-create a template. They challenged us. It was the first time for me and my team we did something like that. They said, okay, we want to run a competition within our company, and we want our users to be split in groups. So I taught them how to start designing a template, and then the users of the company, people who will need to benefit from this template, started to challenge the other groups, trying to create the best template ever. At the end, we did the template pitch competition, in which every group pitched its proposal to the company, to the board of the company, and I took part of the jury as well. It was very nice. And this was very powerful because every employee in the company was challenged to come up with ideas starting from real user needs, from their user needs. So at the end of the competition, we took all the templates that people had redesigned, and we finally re-elaborated all of them and came up with the definitive template. This was very powerful because the clustering phase has been done in a much more effective way, since we didn't just do that, but users did it for themselves and therefore for us. So it was a very cool way to engage with the corporate people, with the population of the company, and then to share knowledge on how to create, but also manage a corporate template. They also experienced how difficult it is to create one, and then they participated to the competition, they competed, and finally we delivered them a very effective PowerPoint template. This is a success case. We're already writing the success case, which will be published on our website, mauriziolacava.com, very soon, and you will see it afterwards. We might want to announce it. Anyway, this is also a nice way to create corporate templates. I've been talking about my team, but I haven't presented them to you yet. This is my stellar team. And what do we do all day? Well, we do design lean presentations. Those could be presentations for marketing. This is a presentation we designed for marketing department in Heineken. This is a new product launch presentation in which budget needed to be approved to introduce this new product in a niche market. We also design corporate profile presentations to present your company, employer branding presentations to go and hire millennials at universities. At least this was the case of Bosch. And the corporate templates, for example, this was a huge corporate template project we have done. If you're interested to know more about it, you will find all the details in the case study on the website maurizioLacava.com. We also invent PowerPoint functions. We have invented 30 plus functions for PowerPoint. We have collected them into a ribbon that is called MLC PowerPoint add-in. We use it to become much more effective, to make you more effective, and most importantly, more efficient. We work for a wide range of clients in a wide range of industries. My invitation from now on is to stay in touch with me. And if you're thinking about designing a new corporate template, you know where to find me. Drop me a quick email and I'll be happy to schedule a call with you and hear about your needs. Now, let me go through the questions before we conclude the speech. Let's see. So, hi, I have two questions, Diksha says. So let me see. Question one. Understood layouts, but what does the theme master slide do? Okay, this is a very interesting question. Question two, if I'm compiling a PowerPoint from multiple other PPTs, is there an easy way to standardize the layout of all the slides? Okay, so the theme is the head of all the layouts. So the theme contains all the layouts. The theme basically should not be worked, I believe. Because you should never work on a theme, because when you put something on the theme, it will be automatically replicated to all the layouts and therefore cascaded to all the linked slides. Of course, you don't want that to happen because you want to have some degree of flexibility at the layouts level. So what do you put into the theme? Let's say, for example, you have a background that has to be applied to all the layouts and therefore cascaded to all the slides. Then you might want to apply it to the theme. Otherwise, don't do it. Don't put objects into the theme, or you will reduce flexibility, and this will compromise the effectiveness of your template. Second question: when you copy paste templates slides from one presentation to another, it's always a bit weird, because the moment in which you paste it, it looks like it's gone, like the design is gone. So the smartest of you know, guys, that you can just say keep source formatting, and then it will be kept as for the source. But then when you do that, you're basically telling the source PowerPoint to bring the entire theme with all the layouts within your slide master. And what often happens is that people copy paste slides from one presentation to the other. They keep source formatting, and so they keep importing themes within one slide master. And at the end of the day, what happens is that you will have one presentation full of themes, and the presentation will never be consistent again. Many different fonts, many different colors, because the themes are different. So my recommendation is make sure that you match the destination formatting and you adjust the slides manually. This requires a little bit of rework, I know, but do not mess up with the slide master, who will take a huge amount of rework. So if you're curious, my recommendation is go open a slide master of a presentation you've been working recently and check how many themes you have. You should have one theme. If you have more than one theme, you messed it up. So do check it out and let me know what have you found in the comments. I'm really curious about it. There is also another question from Harold. Hey Harold, nice to have you here. How do I make a corporate template my default? Okay, so this is something I will follow up with, because this is a very interesting question. You can actually save it as a POTX file, and then you can recall it all the time from file, and then you can make it as a default. But this is a bit technical, so I will need to record this this in a video. I think it's a nice video. I will do that and post it and add it to the follow-ups to this event. Okay, Harold, thank you very much for the insight. Okay, cool. So, guys, we're heading towards the end. I don't know in which part of the world you are, but where I am here, it's 8 p.m. So time to go for dinner. I hope you enjoyed this MLC webinar on the corporate template. I am still thinking about the next topic. I haven't chosen it yet. So if you have any topic, any question you would like me to deal with or create a webinar on, even a pragmatic webinar, which you want me to solve slides or do things, why not? I will take it into account. So please feel free, because I'm thinking about the July webinar, MLC webinar, these days. So just let me know in the comments and I will be happy to take it into account, right? This is a school for everybody for free learning to improve our presentation skills. Okay, guys, once again, thank you very much. Connect with me on LinkedIn or just go and check the website. I will follow up with the videos, the recording of this event, and some additional materials you might want to check out about Slide Master topic. Also, I will answer further questions in the comments, so feel free to comment, to keep commenting, tag me if you want, and I will be happy to answer, or if it is a more complex or interesting answer, I will record the video for you. Once again, thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you next time. Cheers!